Good morning. Welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is listening to the whispers of destiny, the callings of our souls. So this should be fun. And before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present and get settled in. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen just flooding your lungs and flowing into your bloodstream and nourishing every cell, every organ, bringing vital life energy. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, energizing, electrifying, illuminating, and every electron and every molecule and every cell gets invigorated and revitalized by this brilliant bright light. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, fatigue, negativity. And now let's just gently press our palms together and really softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel the deliciousness of that incredible sensation when we presence ourselves to being here, physical in the body, and the miraculous nature of just that remarkable experience of physicalness. It's incredible. So welcome. Bring yourselves present right here, right now. It's so great to be with you as always. And good morning, Rosalind. It's great to have you here. And good morning to everybody else who's joining us. So good to be with you as always. And today we're going to talk about listening to our hearts and souls. And we talk about this topic a lot in various different ways, but I want to share something that is, I'm still just kind of blown away by it. I think I told you a couple weeks ago, it was still in March where I've been playing in the crypto market, and for anybody that is interested in that, there's always the caution: do not play with more than you can afford to lose. So just as a caveat, and I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a financial wizard, and I'm not an expert at any of this. So like I said, I've been playing. And several weeks back, I saw this one crypto. I've been, good morning, Tammy. Welcome. And I've been watching a number of different opportunities, projects, coins, tokens, whatever, in this crypto space. And I just never pulled the trigger. But then one day I saw this one opportunity, and I jumped, and I had to really jump through hoops to buy this thing. It wasn't easy to buy it. And I put a little bit of money in it, just enough that I felt like I could afford to lose if I had to. Hello and welcome, Robert. Good day to you too. Great to have you here. As always, we're talking about listening. So anyway, I pulled the trigger on this thing and I bought it, and I am awed. I mean, I don't know what it was. It was this inner listening, whatever it was in me said, buy this. And I did. And it has gone through the ceiling, gone through the roof, in fact, and gone into the stars already. And I'm watching it in awe and thinking, wow, somebody, something, my higher self or greater spirit or something is watching out for me, to see this thing just that I had this crazy, powerful impulse to take advantage of. I followed that impulse. I listened. I didn't mitigate it. I just did it. And um, who knows? It could be opening up a whole new future for me, and really being a portal to my dreams. Listening to your gut feeling. Can someone describe the physical sensation? Great question, Rosalind. Good morning, Isabel. Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here with us. So, the physical sensation. That's a great question. Good morning, Andrea. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And let's talk about the physical sensation of the gut feeling. Um, hmm as I'm tapping in, like, how do you know when you know? This is maybe this is a great topic too. Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow. Good morning, Gia. So good to have you here with us today. Welcome, welcome. And I see that you've been with us the past several days, so it's great to have you back. And Catherine, I don't know if I've seen you here before. Welcome. It's great to have you here. So let's talk about what is that gut feeling? Like how do we know when we know? Um, Interesting question. So as I'm thinking of it, the word momentum comes to mind for me. Um, and alignment. Like for me, in making that decision, it was almost a non-decision. It was almost like um, feeling, it's almost like a perfect chord, in music, or a perfect harmonic, when everything is resonating together, like that feeling of alignment, and it just, in that, I this is so abstract. I'm trying to get it to be, um I wanted, so Gia says, interesting gut feeling. I want to know more. Yes, let's talk about what is that feeling? Like a negative gut feeling is sort of a contraction, feeling that. But when you're positive, um, I don't know. It's really interesting as I'm thinking and feeling into it. I think there's sort of an energy going up my back, going up my spine into my shoulders somehow. Um, and as I'm feeling into it, it's almost like a vibration, or um, wow, very hard to articulate. Maybe you guys can give me some help here. Isabel says, feeling the energy. Exactly. But what does that feel like? How do we describe that? Rosalind was asking, can we describe the physical sensation? Yeah. So feeling the energy in the body, Isabel says, but what is that sensation like? So, and every morning we talk about rubbing your hands together and feeling the tickling and the tingling, and being present to that. I think that this knowingness is an alignment of the energy that's sort of vibrating and in alignment. So there's no hesitation. In this situation with this purchase that I made, there was no hesitation. And with all these other cryptos that I'd been looking at, I was looking and thinking and watching and considering, and then all of a sudden there was this one, and it was like, okay, buy it. And just like boom, right there, everything kind of, all the pieces fell into place somehow. Isabel says, I can have kind of a chills sensation. Yeah, so I'm talking about like this tingling, Isabel, sort of, or chills, or sometimes it's subtle because it's just completely present. Like, I can't think of a better way to say alignment. Well, so Gia said she's been here every morning, but we couldn't see her comments. I've seen them for the past couple of days and mentioned you. And she says, I missed hearing my name from you. Well, Gia, it's great to have you here. And I'm delighted that we see your comments now. So let's talk about the sensation. You know, I feel kind of a tingling in my shoulder blades, which is really interesting because I know that historically I've held a lot of tension in my body and my shoulders. And so like there's kind of this lightness and tickliness that I'm feeling from the center of my spine out underneath my shoulder blades. And Isabel says, yes, alignment. And good morning, Lisa, magistrate. She is the boss. I'll tell you, Maggie is. She's out of the picture right now, literally, but you can hear her, I think. So Robert says, I took the same, let's say, risk as you did. Now I'm waiting for the results. Though there are some delays, I have a very positive feeling. Well, that's what it was, is I just felt good. And that's another place too, is in and around my heart. I noticed the feeling of like, what does it feel like? Let's see. I'm sensing into it to see what it feels like. It feels like almost bubbles. It feels like the teeny little bubbles that when you go into the water, they almost hiss. You know, when you go into the water, they pop, but they're teeny tiny, so they almost make a fizzing sound. That's kind of what it feels like, or a little bit like soda fizz, sort of. And Isabel says, I can even shake with the sensation. I've had that too sometimes when I've had this this amazing feeling and just start shaking. It's wild because there's so much energy. I really feel like I love this, Isabel. Isabel says it feels like love all over. That's beautiful. Yes, it's like this fizziness for me, and I feel it as I'm sensing into this knowingness. And maybe it's a great thing for us to spend some time to feel into what does it feel like when we know, you know, so that we can identify that go in the future. So Robert says, imagining the positive outcome of the results for the projects that I have. Beautiful. Well, that's imagining the positive outcome, experiencing it in your body makes all the difference. And the way that we experience things is through emotion that actually changes our physiology and it changes our energy. Emotion is energy. So as we can invoke the emotions of an outcome, then we can we are attracting that more. So instead of wanting something, instead of being in the desire for something, to be in the experience of the having of it, you know, the joy that you'll have when it happens. So to be feeling that joy now, that's what magnifies, or I'm thinking of magnetizes the outcome to us, right? So Isabel says, I miss feeling that way. So the thing is, Isabel, you have felt that way. You know what that feeling is. And what you can try as an experiment is to remember that feeling. Like just now, as I was looking at, well, what does it feel like when I know? So what does it feel like to feel love all over? And your body wants to tell you. And so as I'm asking these questions, I'm feeling that sort of tickly sensation between my shoulder blades. And I'm feeling kind of a lightness going up my neck. And by asking yourself that question, you can invoke that feeling. And it's a great thing to practice. Why not practice it? Because then we draw that energy. We use that energy to draw all kinds of positive experience to us. Plus, the experience itself is positive. So Lisa says, I had an experience on Saturday. I had been down the shore bike riding. Oh, what a wonderful thing. It's getting to be great weather for that. And what fun, bike riding at the shore. I was feeling energized and grounded. As we approached home, I saw a bright white light emanating from my third eye. Then I started getting messages from spirit. Wow. Lisa, that's amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. Wow. And I'm wondering, is that still happening for you, or was it a brief, like a momentary sort of experience, or it is the opening continuing? I tend to think right now it seems that the veils between worlds, so to speak, are lifting in so many ways, and we're having greater and greater ability to influence our environment, and also to be receiving um, information from other frequencies and dimensions. I think that there's a lot happening where things are happening faster, more interaction with creating, I think. So Robert says, though I know that there are many too good to be true things out there, I believe that I took the right opportunity. So I'm only focusing on the positive outcome. Well, good for you, Robert. And the thing is that even if it's an opportunity that doesn't turn out the way that you anticipate, it can open doors to other opportunities, or you never know how things are going to go, right? Excuse me, lots of energy moving today, and you never know how they're going to go. But there's no harm to be focusing on positive outcomes, right? Because you're generating positive energy. Gia says, since I've learned and practiced that anxiety and excitement feels the same in the body, I see a big change in my thought process and see how our emotions fool us. Or can say, if we can just learn to observe the emotions without judgment, then body's experiences and how we feel emotions and the thought process changes. That's so true, Gia. Um, to recognize our emotions without judgment, to be present to them and feel them as they move through us as energy, without even without naming them, which is, I think, what you're talking about. That excitement and anxiety really do feel very similar in the body, and when we recognize the feelings, we have the ability to allow that energy to move, or a greater ability to have that energy move. Isabel says, you're so right. It comes back by thinking about it. You've inspired me to write one of my projects. Started it already. That's awesome, Isabel. Beautiful. So true. Like, as we ask, this is going back to something we've talked about a lot, the importance of asking yourself the right questions. So a lot of times when life is challenging, we ask ourselves questions like, why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen? What's wrong with me? Those are questions that your mind's like a machine. It's like a heat-seeking missile. It's gonna go where you direct it. So by asking those kinds of negative questions, you're going to get all kinds of answers. When you ask, what does it feel like to feel love all over? Then you could, as you feel into it, your body, your being is going to answer you, and your mind will. So you want to focus on asking positive, empowering questions. Jesus says, I see a lot of wisdom and guidance coming, and it feels so nice. It's like I have the key to change my feelings sometimes, and a lot more beyond words. Absolutely, it's true. We do have the ability to change our feelings. And the key, part of the key, is to feeling them without judgment, to allow them to move through, to be curious, to cultivate curiosity and allow that energy to move. Lisa says, thank you. It was the first time that happened. This is where the beam of light came from your third eye. Amazing, amazing. I've been in my awakening just over a year now, but I'm going through a divorce, starting a new relationship. As you can imagine, there's been a lot of noise in my head, goofing channels, but the harrowing I get, the more I do. I don't think you mean harrowing, so I'm not sure what the word is there, but the more I do and the more I feel love, anything is possible. Yes, yes. So as we focus our attention and energy in love, then all kinds of things, miracles happen. I was going to talk about miracles this morning, but we're doing that anyway, right? And listening to our inner guidance and following those whispers open the doors of destiny, opens the doors of destiny. Good morning, Elaine. Welcome. Robert says, I've had dreams about it. It's a game changer for me. Even if the outcome proves not to be as expected, I will still have earned the experience. Exactly, Robert. So with this risk that you took, that you had a really good feeling about, it could be life altering. And I see where this investment that I made, on the wings of spirit, I'll say, um, could be life changing for me as well. It's remarkable when we have those impulses. Sometimes they're stronger than others, for sure. But when we have that impulse and that alignment and that um, momentum, and we follow it, miracles happen. I really believe that. And Lisa says, lately I've learned to look for the lesson or the reason. Well, I think the reason is something that we may or may not ever know. We can make up our reasons, just like we get to choose our lessons. So we do, and Elaine says, the beautiful power of choice. Exactly. So we get to choose what lesson we're going to learn. And that's an important point, because sometimes we choose to learn the wrong lessons, like we take a risk and it doesn't turn out the way we expected or the way we desire. And then the lesson we choose is to not take risks anymore. Well, that's not the right lesson. There might be, or that's not the most empowering lesson. There may be a better lesson available, is like maybe to be more alert to some of the signs that were attendant, or who knows what the other lessons might be. But typically you want to look at lessons that are going to be expansive rather than lessons that are going to be contractive, right? Good morning, Sally. Welcome. Great to have you here. Lisa says happier, not harrowing. So the happier I get, the more I do, and the more I feel love. Anything is possible. The happier I get, the more I do, and the more I feel love. Anything is possible. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Elaine says going through a divorce is a powerful opening for the heart as we trust change. Yes. So, one of the reasons that going through a divorce can be so completely transformative is that it challenges on so many levels. It challenges your identity because you were in this marriage and identified in a certain way with that relationship. It challenges your understanding of love and self love, and it brings it's cataclysmic in in all kinds of ways, which can be positive and negative, depending on how you move through it, right? But part of the experience is that it's an undoing, and it's an undoing of parts of ourselves that we don't always contend with in a conscious way. So there's a recreating of oneself in the process of choosing to divorce. There's a falling apart and a recreating also, and in the process of going through it as well. So yes, big possibilities for change there for sure. So yes, this is all about listening. We've been talking about listening to that inner guidance and what does it feel like. And Lisa says, more than half my life was spent with him. We were together 28 years. That's a long time, Lisa. And a huge transformation to make the choice to leave. Or whether, I don't know who in your situation made the choice, but we can imagine that even though it may not be conscious, both partners are deciding that it's not working, even if you weren't the one to initiate the divorce. So yeah, to be able to move on is often a choice for yourself. I think it's always a choice for yourself to choose to move on and to allow yourself to let go enough to move on. And good morning, Tammy. Welcome. It's great to have you here. Elaine says it's so beautiful that so many now know that we have a choice and can choose our experience in the now beyond the victim mentality. Exactly. Exactly. That we can, whatever the circumstance. Actually, that was another thing I was thinking about talking about today, and you guys have brought it up anyway, is that our greatest gifts are often in what looks like challenges or hardship, so what starts out as a um, or could look like a even a tragedy can turn into a, one of the most profound gifts. And I think that that's, Elaine, what you're talking about, to choose not to be a victim, to choose to be whole. We do have that ability at any given moment, and it's it gives us the power to transform tragedy into triumph and difficulty into a gift. There is a lesson available from everything. There's an opportunity always to grow and to evolve, and it's the same thing that we were talking about with emotions, is that if we don't resist our emotions, then we have the ability to allow them to move and transform into something else. And with that, I'm just checking my calendar to make sure that I'm not missing something this morning by sticking around a little longer here. That if we don't resist our experiences, even the hard experiences of our lives, if we allow ourselves to experience them in the present, then they can transform into something that is completely unanticipated and magnificent. So Lisa says, I've always thought we don't really know our gifts until we get to share them. I love that idea. That's really, really interesting, Lisa. And that's a beautiful case for us to express ourselves in the world, right? It's a beautiful case for us to be be uh, following our hearts and taking action and sharing into the world. I agree. I think through reflection, we often get to see ourselves in ways that we wouldn't see ourselves without that interaction. Robert says it appears that we are all attuned to the same frequency and we are one collective mind. So whatever you think about, we think about that same thing too. Yes, well, this is true of humanity, and that's why, and we've spoken about this before, that's why when we elevate ourselves, we're elevating the world, because we are all connected. And so as we heal ourselves, we heal one another. As we heal ourselves, we heal our families. You know, as we elevate our own awareness, we elevate the universal awareness. And Isabel says, I find that happened a few times in my life. From a so-so situation came later a better situation for me. I think that it probably happens a lot. So just this morning, I just before I was to get on with you guys, what I do is every morning I think of I have to do some logging in, and I think of the topic and I write the description and I allocate a certain amount of time for that. And just this morning, I was running just a tiny bit late, and then I spilled not one, but two glasses of water. And one went on my computer. Fortunately, coincidentally, I had gotten a little keyboard cover yesterday, and that was on the keyboard, so the water didn't go into the computer, which was pretty remarkable and miraculous. But the benefit was, as I'm mopping up all this water, is that now all the Maggie droppings of food and otherwise are now cleaned off my desk and off and my computer is all clean of crumbs. And so this spilling of the water actually made me clean up my area so that it feels so much better to be sitting here with you today. So go figure, right? I could have been resisting and upset and whatever, but I just cleaned it up, and now I feel everything is fresh. So go figure, right? Elaine says, for me, all is for my best, not good or bad, but to remember I create my reality. I have a choice and always did and was always choosing. But now I can see this and choose love for myself and others. So I agree with you, Elaine, that we are always choosing, whether consciously or not, that we are engineering our lives on some plane. Like I talk about higher self, I think that we are always engineering our lives. And when we bring that to our conscious awareness, then we don't always necessarily or obviously control circumstances, but we can choose and control how we respond to circumstances. And when we choose our response, or how we're reacting or interacting, then the circumstances often change, different opportunities open up to us that wouldn't have if we were really reactive. And Lisa says, you can, you know what? I have Lisa's saying I can train Maggie to poop on command to keep areas clean. I would be willing to take lessons on that, Lisa, because I have no clue how to teach her to poop on command. I mean, she is just, she's a poop machine. It's amazing. I mean, I don't know where so much poop comes from one little bird. But also the cleaning up that I did was the crumbs when she eats. It's everywhere, everywhere. It's amazing the mess that this little bird can make. So Elaine says, maybe on some level you knew you were going to spill the water, so you had prepared for the experience. So that's such an interesting concept. That's like quantum entanglement kind of idea, because I ordered the keyboard cover days ago. I ordered it days ago. And I ordered it because Maggie likes to pick at the keyboard keys, and she's managed to steal two of them already. And so my keyboard has two holes in it, essentially. And also, I wanted to keep the keys clean because she would drop stuff on it and pooped on it a couple times too. So I just got the keyboard cover and put it on yesterday. She was angry. She was, because she couldn't get to the keys under the keyboard cover. But she's Elaine is asking, do you poop on command? Right. So Lisa was saying to train Maggie to poop on command. I can't imagine pooping on command. I can't poop on command. No, I don't. Do you? Interesting. I don't know. I would love to learn. I understood that you could teach them to poop in the same places, but I haven't had success with that either so far. But we're new to each other. She and I just got together in January, so we're still learning each other, and we've got a lot of time ahead of us, I hope. So, any Lisa says, do you cover your remotes too? Um, no, but she doesn't seem to. She lives on my keyboard. She really. I'm on a laptop, so she likes to sit on the keyboard. And sometimes when I type, she goes and bites my hands. Sometimes she just tries to sleep there because it's warmer. So she sits on the keyboard, and I'm trying to type around her. It's crazy. So Elaine says, I have a blue and gold macaw, and she just does her thing. We coexist together. So Elaine, I never imagined how, and I've said this before, how intimate a relationship you could have with a bird. But she sleeps under the covers in my bed. She doesn't poop in the bed. That's amazing, right? But she sleeps under the covers. She won't poop in her cage. Because I was trying to get her to poop in the cage, but she doesn't. She waits till she gets out of the cage, and then she'll poop. Lisa says, my grays do, and my umbrella cockatoo only poops in her own cage. That's wild. Did you train your grays to do that, Lisa? I understand that African grays are the smartest of birds, but I don't know. Maggie's pretty funny, and she's pretty smart. I've been taking her for walks. I bought, there's a believe it or not, I found online a bird leash, and it's like this little thing that goes over her head, and it goes under her wings and wraps around her belly, and it's a bird leash. And I've taken her out 3 or 4 times so far, and she's not a big fan of the leash yet, but I think she's starting to enjoy being outside. Um, and Isabel says, my cat loves sleeping on top of my keyboard. She loves it too. It's from the heat. Exactly. My cat, I had a cat who would fight me to get on top of the keys on the keyboard. I used to have to type underneath his body. And that's amazing, Lisa. Congratulations. I don't know how you did that. Did you just reward your grays whenever they pooped when you told them to, or did you make a fuss when they did poop so that they knew what you were talking about? It sounds like you do, Lisa, have a bit of a background in avian behavior. I do not. I do not. So Maggie's training me. So I will have, eventually I'll have background in Maggie behavior. So Robert says, my grandparents used to feed the pigeons that came in our balcony when it was open, and the balcony was full of pigeon poop. Yep. But not anymore because the balcony's closed. But yeah. Birds poop. Who would have thought that that would have become such a big topic of conversation today? Oh, well. So Elaine says she loves to take out things from my drawers and she goes out with me. She loves to go to the store. Everybody loves her. So Elaine, do you put some kind of leash on her, some kind of, wait so that she doesn't fly away? Because Maggie would have flown away 100%. I mean, she tried to fly a couple times and thankfully had the leash so she couldn't go very far. But I plan to be taking her wherever I go, and people are very amazed by it. That's so. Are her wings clipped, Elaine? Because Maggie's wings are not clipped, and I'm not planning to clip them. They were clipped, but they grew in. That's amazing that she doesn't fly away. Maggie she would probably come back, but who knows what could happen while she was flying around, Anyway, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you for your bird tips. I now can investigate what it takes to train a bird to poop on command. Maggie doesn't do anything on command, at least not yet. She's getting me to do things on command though. So Elaine says she stays because she wants to. She can fly, but she doesn't fly away. She goes outside and comes in when she wants to. Wow, that's amazing. I don't trust Maggie to do that at this point yet. And Lisa says, in training the bird, I started saying poop every time they went. Then I started holding them over a wicker basket with newspaper in it. Then every so often I put them on the basket or hold them over the garbage or something and tell them poop. Wow, that's easy. I will try that, Lisa. Thank you. And Andrea, it's so good to be with you always. All of you, I thank you so much. And I think we're going to call it a wrap for today. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. This is Maggie that we've been talking about, the pooping bird. And we go live each weekday morning on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page at 9 a.m. Eastern. And please check out everything that is on the Enlightened World Network. There's the Enlightened World Network Facebook page, Enlightened World Living, and there's also at One with the Earth. And in fact, tomorrow is going to be, unless something unexpected happens, going to be the debut of the Sustainability Hour with me and Maggie on at One with the Earth. So I hope to see you back here, and hopefully you'll join us there tomorrow. And until next time, lots and lots and lots of love.